Hello guys, and welcome to this video. Today I would like to talk about why dog keeping is, at least in my opinion, animal abuse. And you could probably make many points to support this particular argument, but I would like to focus on one specific point here, and that is actually dog breeding. And why dog breeding is animal abuse, in my opinion. Now, I have an article here. You see it here. It is by www.walkvillevet.com.au. So it's an Australian website by a veterinarian. And the article is titled, "What Diseases Does My Dog's Breed Get?" So I picked this article because it is by a vet, so nobody can tell me that I specifically selected an article by a dog hater, so I would use anecdotal evidence. So this is by a veterinarian, so you can be pretty sure that these veterinarians probably are in favor of dogs, and they try to paint the picture as favorably as possible. So if they are biased, then they are biased in the other direction and not in my direction. So let's have a look at what they have to say. So the article is from 2016, but it was updated in 2021, so it's not old-fashioned or anything. It's probably pretty up to date. So, what diseases does my dog's breed get? Most decisions to own a purebred dog are based entirely on positive aspects like temperament, personality, and lifestyle. These are important, but we should also focus on the negative, like what can go wrong. Some people believe that genetic diseases are becoming more common in certain purebred dogs due to limited gene pools and close breeding. Regardless of whether this is true, genetic diseases are well known and common, and we should make ourselves aware of them. So, first of all, just one or two cents about the second paragraph here. I find this sentence here pretty weird. Some people believe that genetic diseases are becoming more and more common in certain purebred dogs due to limited gene pools and close breeding. Now, this sentence here I find very manipulative and linguistically manipulative, actually, because it is implying that this would be some kind of hypothesis that some people have. Now, I don't know why they phrase it this way. I mean, I'm not going to, accuse them of any bad intentions, but the way it is phrased, it just gives the wrong impression. Like, this is not something that only some people believe. This is just a fact. I mean, everybody who knows a bit about biology knows that the smaller a population is of an organism, and so the more inbreeding you have, the more sicknesses and physiological deformities you're going to get. So this is not a contentious issue, or this is not controversial. This has been known for a long time. So I don't know why they are treating this as some kind of, we're not really sure about that. And saying, regardless of whether this is true, genetic diseases are well known and common, and we should make ourselves aware of them. Now, again, regardless of whether this is true, I mean, yes, it is true. So let's just keep it at that. Genetic diseases are well known, yes, that is true, and common, yes, they are common, yeah, especially in purebred dogs. They definitely are common. And we should make ourselves aware of them. Now, God, I can even hear the dogs barking right now. Unbelievable. Now, we should make ourselves aware of them I'm not quite sure what that is supposed to help. Like, it always sounds very good. This has become a very fashionable sentence, that, oh, we are spreading awareness and we are raising awareness. Yeah, that's all nice and well. But what exactly does that help in this particular situation? I mean, that's just talking. I mean, it doesn't really help your dogs. I mean, the dog is still going to probably become sick or have some illness. I mean, it doesn't matter really how aware of it you are or not. I mean, it makes you feel good about yourself that, yeah, I'm aware of it and I'm spreading awareness. Yeah, well, good for you. It doesn't really going to help your dog anyway. So much for the introduction here. Now, let's have a look at this unbelievable list of genetically caused diseases. Now here you see a list of the dog breeds. We start here with Afghan Hound, and then we just go alphabetically. And now look at this unbelievable list. Look at this unbelievable list. It just doesn't end. And we're only at D for Dalmatian, Doberman. You can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Like most of these dog breeds, I don't even know. I couldn't care less. No, I haven't heard of most of the. I mean, I don't know what this is. Shar-Pei. Look at this insane list of diseases and illnesses that this dog breed is prone to. That's just insane. I mean, look at that. And that's just a crazy list, and that is probably still, I mean, this is by a vet, so I mean, they do have some expertise, I hope, and this is not by some dog hater or anything. Now, first, when I wanted to make this video, I actually wanted to go into a few of these diseases and explain what they are, but I mean, I just noticed that it is just far too much. Like you won't get anywhere with this, and so I'm just going to keep it short. So what I'll do is I'll just pick, let's say, the German Shepherd. Yeah, let's just pick the German Shepherd. The German Shepherd is extremely popular here in Hungary because they're really aggressive, and they have this how do you say, this reputation here that they are such good guard dogs. The Hungarian obsession with guard dogs. Like, everybody is just constantly scared that somebody's going to break into his palace. So because we're all rich and we're also wealthy, and we all live in mansions. So yes, you need, like, every rundown, fucked up house needs at least a guard dog, so that they are not going to steal their trash. So yes, they're very popular here. And look at this insane list. Look at this insane list of diseases that you have here. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Now, I'm just going to give you a few bullet points now. Hemangiosarcoma, the first point here, that's a type of cancer which almost exclusively actually appears in dogs. Gastric torsion means that the intestines are actually have the tendency to twist, and to basically like form into knots, and that's going to cause huge trouble with digestion and with all sorts of stuff. So they probably need surgery for that. Pancreatic insufficiency, you can probably guess what that is. Allergies, atopic dermatitis is an inflammation of the skin, which is chronic and supposed to be very painful. Cellulitis, you probably know what it is. Folliculitis, now the follicles are the roots of the hairs, and folliculitis is an inflammation of those hair roots. Furunculosis, well, you know probably what a furuncule is. Perianal fistulas, I had to look up. Now, a perianal fistula means that from the anus of the animal, there might grow a hole actually from the anus to the surrounding skin around the anus, so that it'll just form another hole. Like it's just disgusting. Yeah. Fragmented coronoid process, I can't remember what that was. Hemangiosarcoma, we had that. Hip dysplasia, yeah, that's a problem with, a problem with the bone growth. So they will have problems with their hips, which causes a lot of pain and dysfunction. MDR1 mutation is a genetic mutation that causes them to be very sensitive to certain types of medication, or they can't take those medications at all because they would just probably die because of it. Osteochondrosis dissecans, I don't know what that is, but it has something to do with the bones again. So German Shepherds have loads of problems with their bones. Post-operative infection, you can guess what that is. So they are prone to infections after surgeries. Osteosarcoma is just general cancer of the bones. Ununited anconeal process, I don't remember what that is. You know what epilepsy is. Pannus is again a problem with the bones. Lumbosacral stenosis, I looked that up. That actually means that the spinal canal is getting restricted, and the spinal canal is where all the nerves are running through. So if that's getting restricted, then they're just going to have some effects or some symptoms like they're being paralyzed and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's quite the list here. It's pretty unbelievable, and yeah, that's what German Shepherds are prone to. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that every German Shepherd is going to get every single one of these diseases, but the chances for them to get at least one of the diseases is pretty high, and even the chances to get perhaps two of them together is still in like 2-digit numbers, I would suppose. So buy a German Shepherd, and after 2 or 3 years, the problems will start usually. Like the chances that one of these things or even several of these things actually happen is pretty high. So that's of course not something that a breeder would tell you, and they would just say, yeah, that's just absolutely, like in the most extreme cases, these are just exceptions, blah blah. No, they are not. I mean, you can ask anybody who has a German Shepherd that has a few years on its belt, and you will get loads of examples. And another dog that has become very, very popular, not just in Hungary, but I notice them everywhere in Europe, are the pugs. Those mutant, disgusting pugs that every time when you see them, you usually see them in a particular state, and that state is out of breath. They're just constantly out of breath, and you just hear how their lungs and their respiratory tract is just totally overwhelmed, and they can hardly breathe. Because they were just bred to look cute, which means their faces are totally deformed and smushed. And so their respiratory tract is totally messed up, and they can't even walk 50 meters without having difficulty breathing. So this is what the breeding does to these animals. And besides that, besides the breathing problems, you have this unbelievable list of stuff that they are prone to. And they have loads of problems with their skin, which is the dermatitis topic here, because all these dogs that have these, this flappy skin that is, hanging, and they have all these, all these pockets of skin where in the pockets, it's just a breeding ground for bacteria and fungal infections, because it's always wet, and dirt is just getting stuck between those flaps of skin. So they have loads of skin problems as well, which can be very, very painful. And besides that, they get epilepsy and all this stuff like encephalitis. encephalitis, I think that's an infection of the brain. Okay, yeah, it's just insane. So what I don't understand here is actually how can anybody who claims to be a dog lover and a dog keeper and who wants to be really into animals and stuff, like look at this unbelievable list of diseases that occur in these purebred dogs, and how can you be an animal friend when you actually enable all this nonsense here, all this suffering that, you know, normal wolves, like natural animals, would never have such an unbelievable list of diseases. I mean, this is all because of inbreeding. That's all because dogs are not natural. They're not natural. They are mutants that were created by humans, and we messed it up. Yeah, we just messed it up. I mean, we are really not good at playing God. We are really not good at it, and we should just leave it to God, actually. Look at this unbelievable suffering that we are causing these animals, and all the dog breeders are just keeping this cycle of suffering going. And when you buy one of these purebred dogs, you're just enabling this nonsense and this madness. So don't tell me that you're an animal friend. How exactly is that being an animal friend? You just keep this nonsense going, and a purebred dog can cost you a fortune. I mean, they can be very, very expensive, and yeah, some people are just making a ton of money with that, but nobody can tell me that these people are animal friends. That has nothing to do with animal love or anything. These people just make profits on the back of animals, and the ones who have to suffer in the end are the animals. And if you're a moron that is actually buying such a dog, then you're just contributing to all of this suffering. You're not doing the dogs a favor by keeping this going. So don't tell me you buy the dogs because you love dogs. You just buy these so that you can tell yourself how great you are, and you know that you are being loved by a dog, and you're giving that dog a great life, etc. No, you're not. You're not. You're just helping future generations of dogs to suffer just as their parents and their grandparents did. This should all just be prohibited. This is unbelievable, this animal abuse. And yeah, you have all these morons buying these dogs and then spending thousands of euro or dollars on vet bills, and then telling themselves that they just do that because they're so compassionate and they're so noble and they love their dogs so much. No, you don't. No, you bloody don't. But yeah, keep living in denial. Just keep living in denial. How can you buy any of these dogs after looking at this insane list of stuff that often goes wrong? I mean, every person in his or her right mind would just say, never. I mean, God good, never would I do that. I mean, I leave it to other people. My God, I don't want to bother. This is just insane. But yeah, these are apparently the animal lovers. Okay. If that's how you see it, then keep going. And the bad thing is that not only you, in the end, I mean, if you want to spend thousands of euro on vet bills and have trouble with these animals for years and years, then fine. I mean, that's your own decision. But the problem is that you are pushing your animals on everybody else as well. Like where I live, you can't go anywhere without having dogs pushed into your faces. You can't, I mean, I made a video a few days ago. You can't even go to Tesco to just do your shopping and buy groceries without dogs being shoved into your face. I mean, yeah. And then you are wondering why people are actually sick of this or starting to get sick of this. I just really don't get it how anybody can have such a lack of self-awareness. Like, why would you buy such a dog? I mean, you can keep it as well as you want, and you can love it as much as you want, and that's not really going to help it or help the dog a lot if it has epilepsy and it's just going to suffer all its life. It's just insane. And then we all have to listen to the bloody barking because you just really had to buy some inbred mutant. You just couldn't resist, could you? Unbelievable. Yeah, so here you have the animal friends. Good God, really.